Peace, peace. Mind ascension. Peace to my 6 to 22 strand, 7 to 9 ether, U melanin, selenium base, black gods of this planet. Tonight I will be doing a cube viewing, also known as divination, also known as a reading, so on and so forth, for someone who has set a reading or viewing up for some time now, but our schedules seem to clash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this viewing for this person because I have to move on to other paid for cube viewings and divinations with other people for the near future. So to do my divinations is a process. It's not something that you just go, hey, I want to do a cube viewing or I want to do a dice divination or whatever, and then immediately I just grab my dice and then we just roll them or whatever. It's an actual process to where I consecrate the dice by using sandalwood and frankincense. Then I anoint the dice with a specific concoction of specific oils. And then I take your full name and place your name in the box with the dice to create a possessive aspect of your essence into the dice for at least overnight to 24 hours. This person has been in that box with my dice for a while now, and they have to come out. So no matter whether or not we can do it one-on-one, like I usually do my cube viewings and my divination is always one-on-one over the phone or video aspect. But because our schedules seem to not match up as well, I'm going to do this one on my YouTube channel. That person knows who they are, so you'll know who this is about. I'll be sending this to you directly as well as uploading it on my YouTube. Now, as I usually like to do when I do divinations, I like to explain the difference. My consultations are specifically for my own personal knowledge, information, experience, experimenting, and so on and so forth. When I give a consultation, there's no need of any process. The only need is me being aware and me being conscious of the time in order to tap into my own subconscious and to my reservoir of knowledge and information in order to share with you, to give you some form of direction, some form of clarity, some form of vision, or things to have a deeper understanding of and to what look forward to. Divination is completely different. It has nothing to do with my specific knowledge. It has nothing to do with my attitude. It has nothing to do with my preference, nothing to do with anything that has anything to do with mind ascension. It's literally the combination of numerology, dice divination numerology, and the aspect of utilizing the dice as conduits to give the probable aspects of your present as well as future events. And when I say future events, I'm talking next to the present. So in a dice divination, you might get certain things to look forward to or to look out for within the next week or two. We're not talking about things that's going to tell you what's going to happen with your future. You're going to get married and get rich. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about the most basic aspects of the current cycle that you're in. Remember, a cycle could be anywhere between 7 days and anywhere between 49 days or whatever the case may be. Sometimes cycles last for a year. Sometimes cycles last, just as we know, we have the equinox. That's a 26,000 year cycle. So your cycle is predicated upon the frequency that dominates your body and therefore dictates what's going to match that energy within your day-to-day basis. A lot of times people get a dice divination, receive the number that represents the cycle that they're at, and because they are now informed what to look out for and the energies that currently possess them, they can change their frequency and therefore changing their cycle and changing their pattern. That's why dice divination or my divination is important, because it gives you the necessary probabilities, numerologies, and sciences of divination that allow you to foresee or allow you to be in a current situation and understand whether it's a test, whether it's a challenge, whether it's a lesson, whether it's experience, and whether it's an opportunity for you to express, release, or present yourself a certain way that makes you able to maneuver through life effortlessly, without that stress, without that doubt, without that unknowingness. Because as we know, it's the lack of knowingness that causes our fear, that causes our apprehension, that causes our doubt, that causes our hesitation, which allows us to lose many opportunities that are set forth by us and that are put in place by our own energy and by our own frequency. All right? So I just wanted to be clear the difference between divination or my cube viewings compared to my consultations. It is a process. Not only do I consecrate the dice, not only do I anoint the dice, not only do I possess the dice with your full name, but I myself, I must cleanse my own body. I go through my own specific ritual where I cleanse my own body, I anoint my own body with specific oils, and I put on white. I make sure I can find anything that's majority white in order to purify my vessel, allow me to be the best possible conduit ever in order to become a receiver to express and share what is being held for you at this current time in your current cycle and in your current frequency that you're in this life in third dimension experience for yourself. So I hope I was clear on that. Hold on, let me take my... I hope I was clear on that. Doing any form of divination, the mind and the body must be clear to become a receiver. There can't be ego present. There can't be bias present. There can't be your own thoughts, your own preferences, and so on and so forth. This causes the blockage in order to receive certain signs and certain indications from the spirit, which will be utilized through the conduits, which are my dice, my personal dice that I've had for years. I've been doing dice divination for a few years now, but only recently started to advertise it as part of one of Mind Ascension's services. But I wanted to have enough experience with the divination to see the results and see the differences and how it's done. And I've perfected it along the way, level by level, understanding the things that can be added to it. With dice divination that I do and the cube viewing that I do, we're going to be focusing on the spirit of the individual, the mental of the individual, the emotion of the individual, and the physical of the individual, and then lastly, the ego of the subconscious of the individual. Some people, when they roll on this complete aspect of each body of your individual, because you have an emotional body, a spiritual body, a physical body, and a mental body. And of course, you have more bodies beyond that. But some people don't understand, or excuse me, sometimes a specific role for all these different bodies, you might not get a number in a specific body. My most recent cube viewing, this person didn't get a number in the spirit body, which lets me know there's nothing for them to do in the spirit. They're most likely on the right spiritual path. They're most likely spiritually in line or spiritually in balance. But they might get numbers in every other body, from emotions to mental to physical to the ego. So on that note, I am now opening the box, which contains the individual's name and your name, which our ancients referred to as the Ren, R-E-N, or the Cometians or the ancient Egyptians. Your name is one of the first things about you given to you at birth that holds a specific signature or signed nature. Now today, of course, we're given names by Europeans, we're given names by white people, so we don't take our names as seriously, and this is why we rename ourselves constantly. Because we're renaming ourselves based on our own spirit and our own frequency instead of the quote unquote, for lack of a better word, slave names that we were given in captivity, passed down through generations. But your name at birth holds a signature. It holds a frequency. Of course, you can change that frequency. We have the power to change frequencies, to change energies. Any human being walking around talking about people don't change is someone that has not observed the world properly, because change is inevitable in everything in existence. All right. All right. I see the name here. I'm not going to show y'all the name, but that's the name. properly anointed and consecrated. Dice are smelling wonderful. I love opening my box of dice after they have been consecrated, anointed, and possessed with the essence of that name of the individual, letting me know that when I roll these dice, this is the frequency that these dice are going to be on, to show me that specific numerological path of that specific individual and the potential cycle that that individual is in. All right, let's get started. Now, the way that my dice divinations or my cube viewings go is the first roll, as I already stated, is about the spirit, physical, emotion, mental, and the ego bodies. So we're dealing with 5 different bodies, and also I have 5 different dice. So we're dealing with 5 different bodies: the spirit, emotional, mental, physical, and the subconscious or the ego. The first roll is going to give you the specifics in each emotional body in your current cycle that you're in right now. And that cycle, once again, can last a week, can last a whole month, can last a couple months, and sometimes it can even last a year for whatever reason. And this is what we like to call things like mourning. Like some people mourn a specific death for years at a time. That's locking yourself in a specific cycle and frequency. And the next thing you know, circumstances and situations come up in that cycle that match that frequency of feeling or mourning. This is why dice divination or divination in itself, or my cube viewings, aka also readings, no matter where you get them from, they are useful, important, and specific forms of tools. You don't have to follow them. You could do it for fun if you want to. But at the end of the day, my experience and my practice has shown me that these things are actually useful, which is why I follow it. And I am a left brain motherfucker. There's nobody more left brain than me. So my left brain analyzed this practice and knows that it actually is a real science. So let's begin. We have this individual who has been possessed within this box, who has been embraced within these cubes as conduits of the essence of their name, which holds their signature from birth. My first roll will give the indications of their spirit body, emotional body, physical body, mental body, and ego body. And then lastly, I'm going to add up all the numbers and give you your specific one numerology number for the cycle that you're in right now, which is the number that you should study for your current cycle, giving you advantages and giving you ideas and directions on the movements you should make in this specific cycle. Once again, the cycle could be 1 week, the cycle could be a couple months, whatever, 7 to 49. I like to utilize the science or the cycles of 7. So that's why you always hear me say 7 days or 49 days and things of that nature, because I personally utilize the cycles of 7, that deals with the growth and development of the human being, and so on and so forth within nature. Of course, there are many different types of cycles. That's the cycle that I seem to see is most reliable on the consistency of accuracy. As we know, at 7 years of age, we are at the age of reason. Times 7, or excuse me, add another 7, 14 years old, we're usually at the age of puberty and adulthood. Add another 7, 21 years old, we're usually complete in both our puberty, mental, and physical adulthood. Add another 7, 28 years old, add another 7, 35, so on and so forth. All right? So this is for the individual. They know who they are. This is going to be your role. Also, lastly, which I will not do tonight, but lastly, I give the last role, which is a 3-question yes or no aspect, which the dice will answer utilizing odd and even numbers. And then I can go in detail of the answers based on the question on the numbers themselves, dealing with numerology and dice divination numerology as well. So my divinations have 2 parts. The first part is breaking down each 5 of the different bodies of the individual: spirit, mental, physical, emotional, and the ego. My second part of my dice divination or my cube viewings is giving you the opportunity to receive answers from the dice, strictly yes or no questions, and 3 of them. So 3 different yes or no questions. The most simplest questions. I don't need the details. I don't need to know anything. Should I smack the shit out of this nigga? Should I quit this job? Should I go back to school? Should I trust this person? Should I stay in this relationship? Whatever it is, it has to be simple, and it has to be a yes or no question. All right? But let's begin. All right. We're seeking vision, truth, wisdom, foresight, future. We're seeking vision, truth, wisdom, foresight, future. We're seeking vision, truth, wisdom, foresight, future. All right. Now, this individual, as I'm looking at their role, let's first start with the spirit. This individual received a 4 within the spirit body. So let's start with that. The 4 in numerology, let's start with numerology. The 4 in numerology represents foundation. The 4 in numerology represents hard work, foundation. In divination, it represents communication. So combining the 2, we will say that this individual within their spirit, and I know who this individual is, so as I'm talking right now, I already know what this is kind of dealing with to a certain extent. But in their spirit body, they need to communicate much more with themselves spiritually. They also might need to reinforce the foundation of their spirituality. This person might be lighting the same altars for years now, and they might need to choose a different deity. That's another thing that humans who practice spirituality tend to forget. Every deity, every god, every energy, it has its own cycle. Nature has its own cycle. Elements have their own cycles. People have their own cycles. You can't use the same deity forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and receive the same amount of energy from that deity. As a matter of fact, if we study certain occultists, we know that specific gods or deities that have been overused by the mass population over centuries or decades of time, actually, I don't want to use the term lose, but for lack of a better term, lose a certain level of essence and potency. And then, of course, you have so many people misinterpreting the deity, which leads it into a dilution of ranges of energy and frequency. So if I have one deity that I personally look at from my personal study as this deity is a deity of love, and then another person has been looking at that deity strictly on the deity of sexuality and fertility, then that deity becomes slightly diluted to an extent. But not to go off on deities, this person has received the number 4 in the spiritual body. They need a lot more communication with their spirit. You might be questioning yourself right now on what you have been following for the past 3, 4, 5 years. You might be questioning yourself right now on why specific spells or specific incantations or specific altars or anything that you might have been utilizing the past few years spiritually, why it has not been working. As some of us who are already occultists or already spiritual people know, you got to clean your altar. You got to change the water on your altar. You got to change the offerings on you. You got to treat your spirits and your altars like they're real people. You can't just go, okay, this is my altar, this is what it is, I'm going to keep it here and just have it there for years, never touch it, never acknowledge it, never clean it, never change things, never add new things. You have to be consistent in your spirituality. Spirituality is not going to church on Sunday. Spirituality is not saying a whole bunch of goddesses and gods' names and just knowing what the pineal is and all this nonsense. Spirituality is a consistent practice on a daily basis. And it actually doesn't have a specific construct or order to it. So when you hear people telling you the wrong way to do this or the wrong way to do that, that is not necessarily correct. There's only a more efficient compared to a deficient way of doing something. So yes, copper is probably the most efficient metal to be a conductor of electricity, but it's not the only metal that can conduct electricity. So that doesn't make another metal wrong. That just makes it less efficient. And as you know how Mind Ascension teaches, design, energy, function, efficiency, the DEFI method, all right? But anyway, this person needs more communication within their spiritual body. They need also to either reset a new foundation for their spirit or reestablish and reinforce that foundation for their spirit. And as I said, I'm already aware of this individual. So I already know little things about them that this is beginning to connect in my own brain about. So they received the number 4 within the spiritual realm. And the number 4 represents you need communication in dice divination. Anytime you get a 4 dealing with dice divination, you need to communicate more. Communicate more spiritually. Even talk to the people that you think are spiritually stupid. Because even in the ignorant, you can find jewels with intelligence. So this person needs to stop rejecting certain spiritual practices or new spiritual information that does not coincide with what they already accepted or what they already know. They need to communicate more with the people that seem to be on their path trying to share spiritual information. A lot of time as quote unquote woke humans, or the special humans as I like to say, or the extraordinary humans, we reject anyone that's not on our quote unquote level. So when they try to share information dealing with either spirituality, intelligence, history, or whatever, we reject the information because we feel that they're not equipped to teach us or to share with us. The smallest child can teach you some shit you never knew. So that alone is proof of your own blockage, which goes into the ego, which I will get into with this person because they have that in the ego as well. So to sum up, this person needs to do communication within their spiritual body. Communicate with yourself spiritually. Be more in tune and more precise with what your dreams are telling you. Start communicating more with the people around you that are attempting to connect with you, even if they're in the wrong religion or whatever you think that is. Listen to them. Give them an opportunity to communicate with you. Also, in numerology, 4 is the foundation, and 4 represents work as well. So you might need to rethink or relook at your spiritual foundation. And once again, I know this person. I'm sure there's things you've been practicing for years now, and maybe you're not getting the same results you did in the beginning. It's time to reestablish. It's time to rebuild that foundation. So that 4, numerology, foundation. Rebuild your spiritual foundation or reinforce your spiritual foundation. That 4 in dice divination, communication. Communicate with every level and every form of spirit that you can, as well as opening your communication with other people that try to speak spiritually to you. Even when people think that religion is spiritual, you can find spiritual things within that organization called religion, which is not spiritual. But you can find spiritual things within it. So be open to all spiritual communication is what the dice are saying right now. Let's go into the ego, because this person also received a 4 in their ego as well. So this means that they need to do communication with their subconscious. They need to look at their daydreams, their night dreams, the nightmares or the dreams that they're having. They need to stop allowing the ego to tell them what's wrong or right, or to tell them what to follow or what to reject. Because the ego is only there to protect and preserve itself. And remember, everything has a polarity. So your ego has a polarity too. I'll give you a perfect example. People that follow the Namaste culture or the Namaste religion, anything that locks you in a limitation of any kind, I don't care how positive it is, it's a religion. So those who Namaste, no manye, geno, namaste, you know, those Namaste motherfuckers, that's the ego. Every time they talk about 100% positive, think positive all the time. I'm too positive for that. I can't take the negativity. Get out of my face with that negativity. That's the ego. Remember, the ego is not just the arrogant asshole. The ego is also the holier than thou motherfucker. That's the ego too. The motherfucker that think they so high in their own righteousness that you are so low in your own debauchery compared to them. That's the ego. The ego that wants to spray everybody with negativity spray and block everybody from this or that. True divine beings and gods can conduct themselves on any level and can manipulate or transform the frequencies and energies of other people. I could be around the most ghettoest, negroist, niggerish motherfuckers, and I can have them asking questions that they never thought about. Or I could be around the most prestigious, highly educated, by European standards of course, motherfuckers, and have them not understanding the word I'm saying. So this individual needs to communicate with their subconscious. You need to start rethinking, because there's certain things that you might be doubting that you know, and your ego makes you doubt them. Or the opposite. There's certain things that your ego makes you think you know, and you don't. So set the foundation for your ego to have the ability to release and express certain things while acknowledging your ego's in control. That's the numerology of number 4. Set a foundation to acknowledge your ego. And then the divination numerology is communication with your subconscious, communication with your ego. Get yourself a dream book. Start studying the symbolisms of the subconscious. When you get a dream book and you study the symbols of animals, the symbols of things in nature. If you're seeing trees in your dreams, if you're seeing foxes in your dreams, if you're seeing gold or silver in your dreams, start studying the symbolism of dreams. Because your dreams deal with your subconscious. Your subconscious and your ego kind of reside in the same place. So you need to do a lot more communication with your ego, a lot more communication with your subconscious, your dreams, and so on and so forth. So we went through the spirit, we went through the ego. Let's go to the physical. Now, the physical within average numerology, this individual got a number 6. And this means that your physical body right now is in the need of love and harmony. By numerology, the 6 represents family, it represents harmony, it represents love. Right now, your physical being might be in a state of imbalance based on the combination of your diet, but what you know is right. Like right now, you might have been knowledgeable about an alkaline, vegetarian, plant-based dominant diet. But in the last few years, you have gone backwards into an acidic, dairy, meat-based diet. Once again, I know who I'm talking to right now. So it's no coincidence that you got a number 6 in your physical, because you need harmony in your physical body right now. You might be doing a little bit too much smoking. You might be doing a little bit too much drinking. As you already know, your diet is nowhere near what it used to be. Maybe you need to do a little bit more yoga. Maybe you need to do a little bit more pranic breathing. But the fact of the matter is, your physical body is not in harmony right now. All right? And it also can be due to the lack of affection with the physical body, because a lot of us can become sick or become diseased or have ailments based on our lack of connection to other beings or to our polarities and our complementary aspects. There's people who go alone so long without receiving kisses, touches, intimacy, not just sex, but the attention derived from the combination of desire, affection, and love. And when you receive that consistently, your spiritual body or your physical body can heal itself. That's why when you study reflexology and Taoism and you study the Kama Sutra, sexuality is a healing practice. It's not a lustful, debauchery slash nasty thing. It's a healing practice. But that's another video, because our freakiness and our nastiness is our medicine. But I'm not going to go into that right now. But anyway, for the physical of this individual I'm talking to right now, you're either in need of specific physical affection, specific physical love, or you might be in disharmony with your diet and with the physical activities that you're doing. You might be working too hard and not be getting enough rest at home. You might not be getting enough sleep, and so on and so forth. So that number 6 within your physical body is telling you you need more harmony. And start recognizing immediately when you are in a state of physical discomfort, and stop forcing yourself to do shit that you know damn well don't feel good. Because that's another thing a lot of our women do today, a lot. And then they come up with ailments that they can't explain where it came from, because they got a perfect diet, they take herbs, they take vitamins, they're on a perfect diet, but some strange reason they have constant headaches, constant back pain, which goes into another science, because every part of your body that experience a pain or disease or discomfort is telling you something specifically about the emotional body. But that's another video. So this individual got a number 6 in the physical body, which is telling me you need more harmony, you need more balance. So let's say you're eating 5 to 6 meat meals a week. You might need to start going back to your plant-based during the week and then eat a little bit of meat on the weekend. We're not trying to make nothing a religion. We're not trying to stop anything cold turkey. We want to create balance. We want complementary aspects in our existence, in our life. Nothing is 100%. Get out of that religious mind. Nothing is 100%. Let's continue. So we got 2 4s. We got 1 4 in the spiritual body. We got 1 4 in the subconscious or the ego body. We got a 6 in the physical body. Let's go to the emotions. In the emotional body, we have a 5. And the reason why I'm smiling is, once again, I'm aware of this person. I know this person. And this is why I love divination so much, because when you do it properly, with the consecration, with the anointment, with the name possessing of the dice, you get very accurate assessments. So in this individual's emotional body, they got a 5. Now, dealing with the 5 in numerology, you're dealing with changes, you're dealing with challenges, and you're dealing with freedom. So let's start with numerology. This individual got a 5 in the emotional body, which means that they're going through emotional changes right now. They're kind of on the fence of how they feel about certain things. They're on the fence about how they feel about the current potential partner in their life. They might be confused about how to feel about certain things. Should I be happy about this? Should this be a flag for me? Am I here to teach this person? Is this the right way to teach them? Whatever it is, it's a challenge to your emotional body and your emotional state. The 5 also represents freedom, because this can be a time to release yourself from that stupid motherfucker. This might be a time to release yourself from certain aspects of your workplace, of your schooling, of your family, that has you in an emotional imprisonment or has you in an emotional struggle. We also got to understand that in the dice divination of 5, we're also dealing with a form of security. We're dealing with a form of security and also choices, because the 5 represents the choices you have. It also represents your own personal self-security, whether security of your workplace and your economics, whether security of where you live. You don't like being in that apartment no more. You're tired of it. And it's really affecting you emotionally. Every time you walk through that door emotionally, you just feel like you're not where you should be, so on and so forth. Also, we're dealing with opportunities and choices. Now, I'm giving y'all two sides of numbers. I'm giving y'all one numerology side, and I'm giving y'all one dice divination side. The numerology side is your challenges, your changes, and your freedoms. The dice divination side is your choices, your opportunity, and self-security. So this person might need a little bit more security emotionally than they ever did before in this current cycle. They might need to establish how they're feeling, how they should feel, what they should accept, what they shouldn't accept, and so forth in this current cycle that they're in with their emotional body. Okay? So, also, the 5 on the divination side represents decisions. Because if it represents choices, it also represents decisions. And it goes right back to what I just said. You might need to make a decision on whether to stop fucking with that stupid motherfucker. Sometimes people come into your life to introduce you to the person you really should have been with. And once again, I know who I'm talking to right now, so I'm saying specific things. There's a person in your life who might have you on an emotional roller coaster right now. But because of that person, you've had the opportunity to meet new people who give you peace, who give you joy, who give you understanding. And that is what the other person was there for. They're not there to be there in your life forever. They're there to be the bridge between you and the other beings, the other individuals that they have connected you to, that they have networked to get you connected to. That's the 5. Choices, opportunities, major decisions. And this is in your emotional body right now. So you got a 5 in your emotional body. That means right now your emotions are being challenged. That means right now you're receiving changes in your emotions. That means right now you need some form of freedom, direction, something to release you from the imprisonment of your emotions, because 5 represents freedom. So if you got 5 in your emotions, you need to be free of them or directed properly to where they can be utilized instead of imprisoning you and keeping you in a state of indecisiveness. Because as we know, sometimes our emotions make us stop doing everything to where we got to figure out what we really want, and that takes us forever, and then we become imprisoned by our emotions. So that's the emotional body. So we did the spirit, the ego, the physical, and the emotional. Lastly, now this is a real cute viewing. So this person got a number in everything. It's rare I get individuals who have an empty space. And just like I said, my last recent one, they had an empty space in the spirit, which means their spirit is in balance. So this person got a 3 in the mental body. Now, dealing with numerology, the 3 represents expression. The 3 represents creativity. The 3 represents the effort and the work you're willing to take and make. The 3 represents creativity, yes, again, but also the outcomes of that creative mind and results. So outcomes or results, you can say. It also, on the side of divination, it represents the possibility of conflict. Just like you see a love triangle, usually when we say love triangle, we're talking about a conflict. So 3 on the divination side represents conflict as well. The 3 on the divination side also reflects the expectation of changes that's going to come. And the 3 on the divinity side also represents a nerve-wracking period. So basically, in your mental body right now, there's a lot of things that might be pissing you off. A lot of things that might be confusing you. A lot of things that might be frustrating. You're overthinking a lot of shit. We already know. You're overthinking a lot of things right now. Here comes that indecisiveness. Here comes that self-doubt. So on and so forth. All right? But then also, on numerology side, you need to express how you fucking thinking right now. When you're talking to that person, and you know who I'm talking about, when you're talking to that person, stop being hesitant in your expression of your thoughts. Stop it. I know why. Because you're walking on eggshells with that person. Because when you say something specific, they blow up and they go crazy. But you got to understand that the dice are telling me right now that in your mental body, you need to start expressing. Not only do you need to start expressing yourself mentally, meaning how you think about things and so on and so forth. Stop holding back. Stop being hesitant. Stop being afraid to make people mad. But also, you need to get more creative in how you release or how you express your thoughts. Build a dream board or build a, they call them again, not a canvas. Build a collage of your ideas, of your thoughts. Write your ideas and your thoughts down. Go over them. Write a pros or cons list of your thoughts. But right now, we are talking about your thinking. We are talking about your ideas. We are talking about your knowledge. We are talking about your information. You got a 3 in that mental body. So all those things must be expressed right now. They must be expressed. They must become creative. And you have to expect a nerve-wracking period. You have to expect right now in the mental body that there's going to be things that you're going to be fighting against. There's going to be things that's going to touch you the wrong way. There's going to be things that are going to be confusing to you. So be prepared for that. But bottom line, creativity and self-expression is what's going on in this mental state right now. So this means going back to your diary. Yeah. Going back to that dream journal, going back to that diary. This means writing a biography or a book. This means writing more poetry. This means becoming more assertive and becoming more precise in your ideas or your thoughts. Writing them down, making them into equations, utilizing your left brain a little bit more. Not too much, but just a little bit more. All right? So we have that 3 within the mental body. 3 represents expression, creativity, outcomes and results. On the divination side, it represents a nerve-wracking period. Okay? It represents conflicts that can possibly come. Once again, like I said, this is where our love triangles come into. We have a love triangle. You might have a conflict right now where you're with a significant other, or you're with a potential significant other, and they have another person in their lives, and you're building a relationship with that other person, and it's technically a triangle. The triangle doesn't have to be negative or positive, but there could be a nerve-wracking, a mental aspect going on with you because there is a third person. Think about it like that too. All right? So right now, it's time to express that shit. Stop holding back. Stop being scared of what this person, of how this person is going to react. Stop being scared of getting your ass cursed out. Stop being scared of this person treating you a certain way. Express that mental aspect that's going on in your mind right now, which connects right back to the ego, which you got your communication and your number 4 in. Because your mental and your ego are both connected. They're still separated, but they're both connected. They're in a close realm. So this makes a lot of sense. Your reading makes a lot of sense right now. The way that you need to communicate within your spirit with the number 4. You need to communicate within your ego with the number 4. And how you need to express everything in your mental. Make perfect sense. You need harmony. You need harmony. You need love. You need balance. You need cooperation with your physical. By the way, I didn't go into this, but the 6 in divination, not numerology, but divination, deals with cooperation. Start listening to people about your physical. Start cooperating. You might have a next door neighbor that goes out walking every day and you laughing at them. Start walking with your next door neighbor. You might have a coworker that is on a new diet, and that coworker is telling you all these things about this new diet, and it might be time for you to try the new diet. Cooperation is the number 6 in divination. In numerology, the 6 is family, harmony, love. You need harmony within your physical body. There could be mental things and emotional things right now that's causing you to feel a way physically, and it has nothing to do with anything you're doing. There can also be a way that you're dieting right now, or you're not sleeping right now, and so on and so forth, that can affect you physically. All right? The more I look at this viewing, the more these things are adding up. To receive a 6 in the physical, but then a 5 in the emotional. Your physical needs harmony, but your emotional needs the opportunity, the challenge, and the changes. But it also needs the security. You might be emotionally insecure right now because the 5, which is in your emotional body, represents self-security, represents security of life, security of self. How you look, how you feel, how you think, where you are at this time in your quote-unquote life, so on and so forth. So you need security of your emotions right now. Somebody that you can talk to that gives you clarity without doubt, that gives you clarity without judgment, without ridicule. Because a lot of us deal with people who, yes, they might give us advice, yes, they might listen to us, but they come back to us with ridicule, judgment, and their own specific ideology to try to make us convert to. All right? So I'm just going to do a quick rundown. That's the overall reading for the spirit, physical, emotional, mental, and ego. Number 4 within the spirit, communicate more with your spirit. Communicate more. Start communicating more with other people who claim to be spiritual, even if they are stupid ass Christians, Islam, whatever, it doesn't matter. Look for the spiritual jewel that's within what they're saying, because it's there. If this is in your cycle right now, it's there waiting for you to pick it up, and you're just rejecting it because it's coming from a person that you don't like, or it's coming from a person that you know is a Christian, or if you know is something else that you think is stupid. You see what I'm saying? But be open to all spiritual communication. So be open to your own spiritual communication within yourself, and be open to other spiritual communication within other individuals. Number 4, within your ego. Communicate with your subconscious. Communicate with your dreams. Communicate with the things that you doubt, with the things that you question, with the things that you never studied or you never known, but you seem to still reject them. That's your ego. Start communicating more with your ego. 6 in the physical. You need harmony between your body and what you are or what you're not receiving. That could be deep affection. That could be deep love that's affecting your physical body. That could be your diet right now. I know who I'm talking to. That could be your diet right now. You might have been plant-based for 2 years straight. And then all of a sudden, you got into a few things, started working, didn't have time to go shopping, didn't have time to do this and that. Now you back on chicken nuggets. All right? The harmony within your body is not just what you eat, but what you absorb through what you look at, what you hear, and so on and so forth. So be mindful of the harmony you need, which is the 6. Love, harmony, cooperation. Building relationships. There might be somebody that might be asking you to exercise with them. They might be asking you to diet with them, and you're rejecting them. Be open to the cooperation of your physical body with others. Be open to the cooperation of a new diet with others. Be open to the fact that your emotional state might be affecting your body right now. Be open to all forms of harmony within your physical existence and body. Number 5, within the emotional body. This is the time of the challenges, changes, and opportunities and freedom that come with the number 5 within your emotional body. Embrace the emotional challenge you're facing. Right now, I know you're facing a challenge right now, emotionally. Should I stay in this relationship? Should I start over again? Should I sever ties with someone who I've already built a relationship with through another person? This is the time of emotional opportunity, emotional challenges, and emotional changes. Start embracing them and start recognizing them. Also, remember, you need security of your emotions right now, because on the divination side, the 5 deals with security of life, security of your emotional state. So you might be looking for security right now. How does that person make you feel? Do they make you doubt yourself a lot? Do they make you hesitant to speak your mind and to speak your heart? That's what that 5's about. Finding that security in your emotions. Embracing the challenges. Embracing the changes. Finding the release. Finding the freedom. Because you only get freedom after the release. If you're not expressing and you're not releasing how you feel and your emotions, then you're imprisoned by them. And then lastly, the number 3, for your mentality. Get creative in your expressions of your ideas and your critical thinking. Express more of the things that you think about, of the things that you're hesitant in, that you doubt mentally. Question others around you mental capacity to teach you. Don't be afraid to test people mentally. Don't be afraid to do that. All right? All right. So now I'm going to go into the overall cycle of this individual. They received the number 4 in the spirit. They received the number 4 in the ego. They received the 6 in the physical. They received the 5 in the emotion. They received the 3 in the mentality. 4 and 4 is 8. 6 and 8, that's 14. 14 and 5, that's 19. 19 and 3, that's 22. This person's overall cycle right now is the number 4 and 22. Why? Because 22 is a master number. So, to the individual I'm talking to right now, your current cycle is 4, which in numerology means foundation. A little bit more work. You got to put in a little bit more work right now. But you need a certain foundation right now in the current cycle that you're in. And it's overall. So that foundation needs to be spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and ego. You need a strong foundation right now. That's what the dice are saying. You need a strong foundation. But then also, you are in a master number phase, which is the 22. And for this individual that has went forth with this current cube viewing, dice divination, and cube reading, I'm going to be sending stuff to them specifically. But right now, your cycle number, majority of the time, the individuals that do my divinations, they get 1 cycle number. Every once in a while, you'll get 2. Because 11, 22, 33, so on and so forth, these are master numbers. So we're not allowed to just clump them together as one number. We can't just turn 11 into a 2 and just leave it as a 2. We have to use both. We have to use the 2 and the 11. As a matter of fact, a client before the last one, they got an 11 and a 2. You see? So I had to give them information on both the master number 11 and the numerology of number 2 to get them properly set within the current cycle they're in. This individual right now has received the 4, adding the 2 2s together, which is the foundation that they must set for themselves through each one of these spiritual bodies, being a lot more stronger, a lot more confident, a lot more study within each one to set a proper foundation. And then also that 22 master number. So study that 22 master number. Study that number 4 in numerology for your current cycle. Now, I'm doing a video, so I can't do the last part, which is the 3 yes or no questions. I can do that at another time for this individual because I don't know their yes or no questions. It wasn't given to me as yet, so I can't do that last part. But to sum up everything, 4 within the spiritual body. Set your foundation for spirituality. Communicate more with your spirit. Communicate more with others spiritually, no matter how ignorant they might seem. Look for the gems in what they say as a spiritual entity, as a spiritual sign and a spiritual direction. 4 within the ego. Set the foundation to recognize when your ego is in charge at the time. Also, communicate with your ego. Communicate with your ego. Realize when your ego is making a decision for you and it is not your frontal lobe consciousness that has actually went through the experience of studying and seeing things and then making an intelligent choice. 6 in the physical body. You need harmony within your physical body. Whether it's changing your diet, whether it's receiving love, affection, sexuality, whatever it might be, something in your physical is screaming for harmony. And a lot of times, especially with women, a lot of times women become sick because they're disharmonied or they're imbalanced within the physical body. They're not receiving the proper attention. They're not receiving the proper love. They're not receiving the proper affection, and so on and so forth. Emotional body number 5. The 5 in the emotional body is dealing with the challenges of your emotions right now. We know what that is. We know what that is. The challenges in your emotions right now. The changes in your emotions right now. The opportunities emotionally that you have right now. Whether you're taking them or not taking them. The opportunities are still being presented to you. It's up to you to take them or not take them. Lastly, the 3 within the mentality. Start expressing your thoughts. Start sharing your ideas. And become creative in how you share them, how you express them, writing them down, creativity, making your thoughts and ideas into stories, making your thoughts and ideas into poems, whatever it might be. Get creative and get expressive. All right? I'm going to wrap this up, family. I hope that this was useful to the individual that this was for. This person knows who they are. Any of you that want to set up a dice divination or a cube viewing, the number is 646-575-8305. Once again, set up a consultation or set up a cube viewing / dice divination, 646-575-8305. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that I brought clarity to what this actually means and what this practice is. And I look forward to any questions. I look forward to any critiquing. I look forward to any challenges, any debates on anything beyond just dice divination, beyond what I just showed now. And I love y'all. I appreciate the handful and the small handful of y'all that do support me, that do comment. Please comment. Please ask questions. Please challenge. Please share. Once again, the number is 646-575-8305. Send me a text. We can set up and schedule anything, consultation or divination, by your time frame and your convenience. Mind Ascension, remember, you are divine beings. It's up to you to make the choice to practice the activation of your divinity, or make the choice to remain human within the numerous dissections and fragmentation of the human brain that causes the complexities that create our confusion in this day and time. I love y'all. Mind Ascension. I'm out.